You can feel it happening. There's someone, maybe they're kind, consistent, interested in you. But something in you wakes up, something protective, something that starts creating distance, finding flaws, picking fights, pulling away. And the crawler's part? You feel like you're sabotaging something real, something good, and you can't actually stop yourself. This isn't weakness. This isn't your fault. What's happening is your nervous system doing exactly what it was programmed to do. But that programming came from a place that was trying to keep you safe. It was designed for an environment that doesn't exist anymore. Your nervous system is pushing love away because your body has learned that closeness is dangerous. And today, we're going to look at the actual neuroscience behind this. Because once you understand the mechanism, you start to understand how to work with it instead of against it. Let me paint a picture of what this looks like in the real world. Maybe you're lying next to someone you care about and they put their arm around you. For a moment you feel safe, but then something shifts. Maybe you notice they haven't complimented you in 3 days. Maybe you remember a moment from last week when they didn't text you back right away. And suddenly that warmth feels suffocating. You find a reason to get out of bed. You check your phone. You pick a small fight about something that doesn't matter. And by morning, there's distance again, safe distance, distance that lets you breathe. This isn't random. This is your nervous system executing a program that was installed long before this relationship started. And understanding why it's happening is the first step to changing it. Let me start with something that might feel deeply true for you right now. Maybe you've lived the experience of, my nervous system has never not been in the sympathetic state. That chronic activation, that constant readiness for threat, because when your foundational experience of love, your earliest attachment experience involved unpredictability, rejection or danger, your nervous system learned to associate proximity with threat. Attachment theory, pioneered by John Bowlby in the 1950s and expanded by Mary Ainsworth, mapped something revolutionary. Your first relationship, the one you had with your primary caregiver, becomes the template for how your nervous system reads safety in all future relationships. Bowlby called this the internal working model. It's literally a neurobiological map of what closeness means. If that early caregiver was emotionally available, responsive, attuned, your nervous system learned that closeness equals safety. Your vagal tone developed in a healthy way. When you encounter a partner later in life, your brainstem, the ancient evolutionary part of your brain, recognizes cues of availability and warmth, and your ventral vagus activates. This is the nerve that supports social engagement, connection, the ability to feel safe in intimacy. And if you're recognizing yourself in this explanation already, if you're starting to see the pattern, subscribe, because this gets much more practical and you're going to learn exactly how to rewire this. But if your early caregiver was unavailable, rejecting, or inconsistent, your nervous system learned something different. It learned closeness is unpredictable, love is conditional, vulnerability invites pain. So when someone tries to get close to you now, even someone safe, even someone who is genuinely trying to love you, your nervous system sounds an alarm. Not in your conscious mind, but in your brainstem. This is neuroception. It's Porges's term for the unconscious process by which your nervous system scans the environment and your partner, looking for cues of safety or threat. Here's the problem. Neuroception doesn't care if the alarm is accurate. It cares that it was once necessary. Your nervous system looked at your partner, maybe noticed a withdrawal, a hesitation, a moment of distance, and your brainstem said, "This is the same rejection you experienced." Activate the defenses. And what do those defenses look like? The push mechanism. In anxious attachment, it looks like hypervigilance. You monitor every word, every tone change, every delayed text. You escalate emotionally to get reassurance because your nervous system is trying to force the caregiver to stay close. Let me be specific about what this feels like in your body. Your chest gets tight, your breath becomes shallow, there's a flutter in your stomach that you might interpret as butterflies, but it's actually your amygdala saying danger. Your hands might shake. You might find yourself reaching for your phone over and over, hoping for a text that proves you still matter. This isn't neediness. This is your nervous system in genuine distress, flooding your bloodstream with cortisol because it cannot tolerate the uncertainty of being away from the person you depend on for safety. In avoidant attachment, it's the opposite, but equally dysregulated. When someone tries to get close, you create distance. You find reasons why the relationship won't work. You might start noticing character flaws in your partner that you hadn't seen before. You sabotage intimacy by withdrawing or disappearing. And the insidious part is it feels like clarity. It feels like you're finally seeing the truth. But what's actually happening is your nervous system is flooding you with cortisol and adrenaline. And in that state of activation, your brain creates narratives that justify the withdrawal. It's convincing yourself of reasons to leave because staying feels like drowning. In both cases, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. You're in fight or flight, just in different directions. And here's the cruel paradox. The very mechanism designed to protect you from rejection is the one that creates it. When you're in sympathetic activation, you can't access the part of your brain that knows this person is safe. The prefrontal cortex, the executive function, the rational mind, goes offline. You're not thinking anymore. You're surviving. And survival doesn't negotiate or communicate or say, "I'm sorry, I'm scared." Survival fights, flees or freezes. Write anxious or avoidant in the comments, depending on which one you recognised in yourself, because that recognition is the beginning of the rewiring. This is what people mean when they say, "I understand, but I can't do it." Understanding lives in the prefrontal cortex, but your nervous system is activated in your brainstem. The gap between knowing and doing is actually a gap between two different parts of your brain, and no amount of talking about it, no amount of journaling or positive affirmations will bridge that gap if your nervous system is still running the old program. Let me give you a concrete example. You're with your partner. You know they love you. You have evidence of it, but they came home late without texting and something in you spirals. Your partner sits down, takes your hand and says, "I love you and I'm sorry I didn't text." Everything is fine. Your prefrontal cortex hears this. It understands, but your amygdala is screaming abandonment, rejection. You're not important enough to remember. Your chest feels like it's caving in. Your breathing gets shallow. Tears start coming. And you think, "I'm being irrational. Why can't I just stop?" The answer is simple. You can't think your way out of a nervous system response. Your brainstem doesn't care what your prefrontal cortex knows. I hear this from people every day. I genuinely have no clue how to stop this. They're not broken. They're just trying to overcome a sympathetic activation with a prefrontal response, and that's like trying to outthink a fear response. You can't. The brainstem evolved before the thinking brain. It's faster, it's more powerful, and in a moment of perceived threat, it takes over. Someone with anxious attachment might say BPD, and attachment kept doing crazy things. Attachment trauma can manifest as what looks like chaotic behaviour, the endless texting, the need for reassurance, the emotional intensity. But underneath each of these is a nervous system screaming, "Are you still there? Will you stay? Do I matter enough to not be abandoned?" The behaviour isn't the problem. The dysregulated nervous system is the problem. Let me give you the mechanism more precisely. Your nervous system is organised hierarchically according to Porges's polyvagal theory. At the most evolved level, you have the ventral vagal complex. This is the social engagement system. Eye contact, facial expressiveness, the ability to hear the emotional tone of someone's voice, the capacity to feel safe with another person, all of this comes online when your ventral vagus is dominant. When you're in ventral vagal tone, you can laugh easily. You can sit in comfortable silence. You can be touched without tensing. Your body feels open. Your voice is relaxed. You can look someone in the eye without feeling exposed. Below that, you have the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight. This is the arousal state. Heightened awareness, muscle tension, readiness for action. You know this state intimately if you have insecure attachment. Your jaw clenches, your shoulders creep up toward your ears, your stomach feels tight, you can't sit still, you might pace or fidget or compulsively check your phone, your voice gets higher or sharper, you can't quite catch your breath. This is your body in survival mode. And at the deepest level, you have the dorsal vagal system. This is immobilization, shutdown, dissociation. When a system is too threatened, the nervous system collapses. This is what depression looks like in the nervous system, not sadness, collapse. Everything feels heavy. You can't get out of bed. Nothing matters. You feel numb, disconnected from your own body. When your partner is trying to reach you in this state, it might feel like you're not even in your body. You're watching yourself from far away. Now, someone with secure attachment, someone whose early relationship taught them that closeness is safe, lives most of their day in ventral vagal tone. They can access that social engagement system. When their partner withdraws, they can stay calm. They can communicate. They can ask for reassurance without desperation. They can feel their partner's love, even in moments of disconnection. Someone with insecure attachment, anxious, avoidant, or disorganized doesn't live in the ventral vagal state. They're chronically in sympathetic activation, or they flip between sympathetic and dorsal vagal collapse. The moment something in their partner's behaviour triggers the old wound, the nervous system escalates. Cortisol floods the bloodstream. The amygdala is hijacked. And suddenly you're not in a relationship with a loving partner. You're in a survival scenario with a threat. If you're recognising this pattern in your relationship, write push, pull in the comments, because that's the rhythm many of you are living in. The closer you try to move, the more you push away. And the more you push away, the more you panic about pushing them away. It's exhausting. It doesn't have to stay this way. This is what's happening when someone sabotages a good relationship. It's not that they don't want love, it's that their nervous system doesn't believe love is safe. So it creates distance, because distance feels like survival. Distance feels like the only way to protect yourself from the inevitable abandonment or rejection. Now the question is, can you rewire this? Absolutely. And this is the part that changes everything. Your nervous system can learn new patterns. The brain has something called neuroplasticity, which means it can form new neural pathways at any age in any circumstance. The key is not willpower. The key is not forcing yourself to just trust. The key is understanding the mechanism and working with your body, not against it. Think about it this way. Your nervous system learned that closeness equals threat over thousands of micro-interactions with an unavailable caregiver, thousands of moments where reaching out was met with silence or criticism or absence, a parent who was emotionally checked out, a caregiver whose love felt conditional on your behaviour. That learning was deep and embodied. It lives in your muscles, in your breathing patterns, in the way your stomach tightens when someone says we need to talk. It lives in the automatic way you reach for your phone or away from your partner or into your own head when things feel too close. Now here's the good news. Your nervous system will learn that closeness equals safety through thousands of new micro-interactions. Not in days, but in weeks and months of consistent, gentle, embodied practice, your brainstem begins to update its map of what's safe. And once that map changes, your entire experience of love changes with it. You stop needing to control your partner to feel safe. You stop needing to disappear to protect yourself. You can actually be present with someone without your nervous system sounding every alarm in your body. The first step is recognizing when you're in sympathetic activation, not in your thoughts, but in your body. Chest tightness, shallow breathing, heat in your face, restlessness, the compulsive need to pursue reassurance or the urgent need to withdraw, intrusive thoughts that your partner doesn't actually love you, despite evidence to the contrary. These are the signals that your nervous system has activated its defences. And here's the crucial distinction. These signals are not truth. They're your nervous system's prediction about the future based on the past. Your job is to gently dispute that prediction with new evidence of safety. Write "I feel this" in the comments if you recognise these body signals, because naming it is the first step. Once you can feel your nervous system activating instead of just being swept away in the story it's telling, you have a choice. The second step is titration. You've heard about grounding techniques, about taking 3 deep breaths. These work because they activate the vagus nerve. Deep breathing, specifically long exhales, activates the parasympathetic response. Your nervous system begins to downregulate. But here's what most people miss. This is not a willpower thing. You're not fighting your nervous system. You're inviting your nervous system to remember that safety exists. You're offering it evidence that the threat it detected isn't actually real. And when you do this repeatedly, when you titrate your activation, when you come back to calm, when you stay present with your partner through the anxiety instead of running away, you're literally rewiring the neural pathways that control how you respond to closeness. Picture this. You're with your partner, they touch your arm, instantly you tense up. Your mind runs the story. They don't care. This won't last. Instead of pulling away, you notice the activation. You take one long breath in and an even longer breath out. Your shoulders drop half an inch. That's titration. You're slowly introducing the body to the idea that touch doesn't mean danger. Some of the most powerful ventral vagal practices are deceptively simple. Humming activates the vagus nerve directly. Singing does too. Listening to music with your full attention. Cold water on your face for just a few seconds, which shocks the parasympathetic system into awareness. gentle stretching, especially in the chest and shoulders. These are not luxury self-care. These are nervous system medicine. They are literally increasing your vagal tone, strengthening the neural pathway that says you are safe. You can be close to people, you can let someone in without bracing for impact. The ventral vagal system, the one that supports connection, is profoundly social. It develops in the presence of another regulated nervous system. This is co-regulation. When you're in a dysregulated state and your partner can stay calm, can maintain soft eye contact, can use a soothing tone of voice, they're offering your nervous system a mirror of safety. Over time, repeatedly, your brainstem learns that this person is not a threat. That closeness is actually safe. This is the neuroscience of deep security. Here's what this looks like in real life. You're spiraling. Your partner said something that your brain immediately interpreted as rejection. You're starting to withdraw, to construct a narrative about how they don't really want you, how you're better off alone, and your partner, instead of defending themselves or getting frustrated, sits down next to you. They don't try to convince you that your fear isn't real. They don't say, stop being crazy. They say, I can see you're scared. And they place their hand gently on your shoulder. They breathe slowly. They make it clear through their calmness that this is not a threat. It's an invitation. It's an invitation for your nervous system to borrow their regulation. And in that moment, something shifts. Not dramatically, but something shifts. Your shoulders come down, your breathing slows, you're not thinking your way out of the fear, you're feeling your way out of it through the presence of another calm nervous system. A secure partner isn't helping you think your way out of your patterns. They're helping your nervous system remember what safety feels like. And slowly, through that repeated experience, your body learns a new baseline. This is why secure partners are so powerful for healing. They don't take your defenses personally. They don't punish you for flinching when love gets close. They recognize that your nervous system's alarm system is misfiring, that it's responding to an old map, not the current territory. They stay present and regulated, and slowly, through thousands of micro interactions, they teach your body something it may never have known before. But you don't have to wait for a partner to do this. You can do this for yourself. Ventral vagal toning practices like humming, singing, listening to music with your full attention, maintaining posture that supports the vagal response. These increase your vagal tone. They strengthen the neural pathway of the ventral vagus. Over time, your baseline moves. And here's the profound thing. When you heal your nervous system, you don't just change how you relate to this one person. You change your entire relational capacity. You become someone who can receive a love, not just intellectually understand it, but actually feel it in your body. When your baseline nervous system state shifts from sympathetic to ventral vagal, everything changes. You can be playful. You can be vulnerable without it feeling like you're dying. You can receive compliments without your brain immediately looking for ways they're not true. You can be touched without flinching. You can ask for what you need without shame or desperation. I want to be direct about this. If you're in a pattern of nervous system dysregulation in your relationships, this is precisely what the pursuit paradox is designed to address. The 21-day nervous system reset is built specifically for people who understand the pain but can't seem to change the pattern, because the pattern isn't a character flaw. It's a nervous system habit, and habits can be rewired. Patterns can be broken, trauma can be healed, not through insight alone, but through the embodied practice of creating new experiences of safety, the mechanism you now understand, neuroception, the brainstem's automatic assessment of threat and safety, the hierarchical organisation of your nervous system. These are things that can shift, but they shift through embodied practice, through repeated experiences of safety, through learning to recognise and titrate your own nervous system activation. The pursuit paradox walks you through each of these systematically. It's not generic advice about relationships. It's a precision nervous system reset designed for people whose histories taught their bodies that love is dangerous. So let me return to where we started. You're sitting with someone who cares about you, someone safe, but something wakes up, something protective, something that starts creating distance, and you feel like you're sabotaging something real, something good, and you can't actually stop yourself. Now you know why. It's not you sabotaging yourself. It's your nervous system protecting you the only way it learned how. Your brainstem is running a program written decades ago in a relationship that wasn't safe. It's screening your partner through that old lens, and every small thing, a moment of distance, a delayed text, a tone of voice, gets filtered through that trauma template. And here's what changes. Instead of hating yourself for the pattern, instead of white-knuckling your way to willpower, instead of believing you're broken, you start to understand. You start to work with your body. You practice ventral vagal activation. You ask for co-regulation. You stay present in the anxiety instead of running. You give your nervous system thousands of tiny pieces of evidence that this person is safe. That closeness is not the threat it once was. Your nervous system isn't pushing love away because you're broken. It's pushing love away because it's protecting the only way it knows how. The next step is teaching it that protection through connection is actually more effective than protection through distance. And that's a conversation your nervous system is ready to have. If this framework is making sense for you, if you're starting to see your own patterns in a new light, subscribe and send this to someone who needs to hear it. Because attachment wounds are so lonely when you think you're the only broken one. And you're not. You're just protected, you're just dysregulated, and that can change. The pursuit paradox is your guide through that conversation. It's the 21-day nervous system reset designed specifically for people who understand intellectually that their partner loves them, but whose bodies don't believe it yet, because understanding and feeling are two different things. And this program works on the feeling level, where the real healing happens.